Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
And I am an anime fan. And as anime enthusiasts, a lot of us have gone through the full cycle of the anime fan. Starting off in whatever genre got you into anime and only watching all those kinds of shows, from Naruto to Bleach, from Kaguya-sama to Fruits Basket. Then you get to the point where you only have the best of taste, also known as going to the Mal Top 100 and watching all of those shows. After watching all the quote-unquote best anime, you begin to realize that maybe your tastes don't align with the masses. They're all just sheep, but you're different. So then you begin to watch isekai. After watching enough anime, you'll just begin to get to the point where you just like stuff just because of how well it works in the anime medium. I love Fooly Cooly because of how weird it is. It's just everything I love about anime turned up to 1 million with a good message behind it. A similar show to that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love how weird it is. Seeing big men fight each other, maybe they become friends, maybe you have a realization about your own sexuality. And the final evolution of this is when you finally begin to watch Baki, which is just the peak of the mountain of the best anime ever made. I'm just messing around, but Baki is just the most anime of all time. It's just so ridiculous. I think that the scene that best describes how insane the show gets is when Baki needs to have sexual intercourse in order to power up. Yes, you heard that right. He needed to do the deed in order to get stronger. All anime fans realizing they will always be weak right now. Anyway, during this scene of Baki powering up, the shot pans to his dad in the corner, menacingly watching, and I think the scene should probably be considered as the greatest scene in anime history. So we have established that Baki is probably the best anime of all time, so how could this masterpiece get any better? Make them cute anime girls. Now I know exactly what everybody is thinking. Girls fighting each other? Aw, bro, that's gay! But I assure you it's every bit as manly as something like JoJo's or like Baki, if that helps you sleep at night. Star Strike It Rich is best described as Baki with waifus, and that's really all you need to know. What's more manly than insanely muscly men punching each other in a battle to the death only to gain respect from your opponent and get stronger through the process? Insanely ripped women doing it. When you look at the cover of the first volume of this manga, you might be a little fooled, because this looks like an anime that might be about something like a cute anime otaku that decides she doesn't like what she's doing and decides to take up MMA in her off time. But the second you take a look at the man who wrote this manga, you'll learn that is not the case. You see, this manga is written by Yabako Sandrovich, and if that name isn't familiar to you, he's the mangaka of Kengan Ashura, which is literally just over-the-top, gritty fighting, and that's exactly what this manga is. You see, this manga is about a girl named Nozomi, a really good fighter who had to give up on her career due to a detached retina, but she doesn't let this stop her. She goes and starts fighting in underground fighting rings. They have no rules, all bets are on the table, and the only thing is just make your opponent tap, but because she's a wrestler, she gets let go for having boring fights. Well, after getting fired from her job, she goes drinking with a couple of her friends, Iori Ichika, a corrupt cop who is more criminal than the people she arrests, and Mitani Hana, a member of a Yakuza family who used to fight MMA as well. And after that night of drinking, she realizes with the connections of her and all of her friends that they might just be able to tap into an untouched market, female MMA, and after trying out a test one, they realize they don't really have anything to make their fighting league special, and to combat that, they go for the obvious answer: sex appeal. And just at that moment, the corrupt cop comes to a realization of who she can have fight. A cute girl named Hina who goes to the Koyo Girls Academy, and let's just say they call her the deadliest schoolgirl in Japan, a freak of nature once at the center of a plot to overthrow the government. You see, there's kind of a weird subplot in this manga that doesn't really take center stage, but our main character, Hina, is actually the daughter of a cult leader. And you see, this cult leader had a plot to overthrow the entire world, and the way they were going to do this is by using chemical weapons. Well, you see, this cult had a squad of elite soldiers, and they put Hina in that group to train up to be one of those elite soldiers from the time that she was a little kid. So naturally, she's much stronger than pretty much any single person in this series. She's practically the Saitama of the series, just completely destroying everyone she fights. But you see, the thing is, it was told around the cult that something changed in the leader once he adopted Hina. She changed him, made him more insane, and after the cult leader randomly died, she disappeared with all of the chemical weapons they were going to use to overthrow the government. Now you see, in order to get Hina to join their group, they decide to kidnap her, because if you want a woman to do something for you, you should kidnap her. That is just a joke. For government purposes, that is just a joke. But of course, Hina, being absolutely insane, is excited at the prospect of being able to fight somebody, and after she starts fighting our main character Nozumi, she realizes she's actually strong and can put up a fight. So she makes her a deal: if you can find me fun opponents to fight, I'll tell you where the chemical weapons are. And that is the plot of this entire show. Well, they convince Hina to join the league, and naturally, she gets her first fight and knocks the opponent out in one punch. Realizing this won't be as fun as she thought it was going to be, she offers up all the money she has ever saved up, $500,000, to anybody who can beat her in a fight. And now it gets to the point where we have way more opponents who are coming to fight them. We have everything from cute Chinese women to muscle mommies, everything you need from an anime about women fighting each other. Now, obviously, I'm someone who has come to appreciate culture in anime and manga, but I think this is the best form of that. Never does it feel out of place having these women fight each other. You just have these crazy over-the-top fights with a cute-looking idol girl versus muscle mommy number 3, and it's just like hilarious at times, just like a JoJo or Baki's, where it's just funny how over-the-top it is, but then all of a sudden you're just watching one of the coolest fights you've ever seen. And this show just hits all of the easy shonen beats. It starts out 5 chapters in, they're in a tournament arc, 15 chapters in, they're in another tournament arc. They're consistently introducing these stronger and crazier characters with sick character designs, by the way, who then will join them and become likable and part of the team. It's just everything that you could want out of a shonen with a really cool premise. And speaking of the action is great. It's super easy to follow, which isn't something you get from a lot of manga, and as somebody who has read a whole bunch of manga and oftentimes struggles to see what's going on in fights, I can always appreciate that, especially when it's a martial arts manga and all of the stuff you're doing is kind of more grounded in reality. But I do think this is just a good manga to look out for if you're just looking for some fun, turn your brain off action with cute anime girls. I think the juxtaposition of Hina being an actual insane person and potentially having a plot to literally destroy the world all at the same time being this bubbly schoolgirl is so perfect, and I just cannot stress enough how much fun I had reading this whole thing. It's just like that feeling of watching Baki. I had a smile on my face every single chapter of this manga because it's just cool. And I mean, when you're making a pure martial arts manga, that's really all you need, is just make everything cool for the sake of it being cool. You don't really need to explain it or make it make sense. Just let it be a lot of turn your brain off fun. The last thing I wanted to talk about was just the art real quick, because the art is really, really good. It's nothing like insanely special, but it does the job really well. I really like the way the action scenes look, and I think they do a really good job at making memorable character designs. And again, as just like a shonen fan or fan of anime, I think this is just everything you need from a manga to just turn your brain off and have a lot of fun. Is it going to be the best thing you've ever seen? Probably not. Will it be a lot of fun, and are you going to remember it? I will guarantee that you will remember this manga when you're done reading it. And yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I know this is a little different than my usual videos, but I just read this whole manga and decided that I should probably make a video on it because I think it's a lot of fun and more people need to talk about it. I actually never even heard about it until the other day, and I read it all in one day. It's a quick read. If this sounds interesting to you, you should definitely go read it. But that's it. Thank you. Peace.